Hello everyone and welcome to Sentence Diagramming 101. This video is about Chapter 2, Section E, Modifiers. We finally made it! We're at the end of Chapter 2. So far you've learned all about the other word functions in a sentence. You've learned about subjects and verbs and objects and complements. But what about all those other words? Well, odds are they are modifiers, meaning that they are modifying something else in the sentence, giving you more information about something else. And generally speaking, they do that in three ways. They come in adjectives, adverbs, and prepositions. So adjectives do what adjectives do, right? They describe things. If you find yourself answering any one of these three questions, which one, what kind, or how many, then the word is an adjective. That is its function in the sentence. Now, if it's not an adjective, then it might be an adverb. When in doubt, it's an adverb. We love adverbs in English. But an adverb will answer one of these questions: how, where, when, why, and in what manner. Now, if it's not doing one of those two things, it could be a preposition. Now remember, prepositions are those little words, in, on, of, by, and they tell you where something is in relation to something else. Usually they are spatial, or relative to something else. But prepositions are the words themselves, but they also come in what are called prepositional phrases. When you have a prepositional phrase, it will be something like right here, on my desk. So on is the preposition. My, well, what is my telling me? It's telling me which one, right? Which desk? My desk, not, Remy's desk or something else. So on my, preposition, adjective, and then desk is the object of the preposition on. It's like on what? On the desk. Desk belongs to the preposition, so we call it the object of the preposition. And then those three words all together are a prepositional phrase. Now it looks like in this sentence we actually have two prepositions. We have, on my desk, and then we have at school. So at school, at is the preposition, and then at where? School. School is the object of the preposition. Now, prepositional phrases will be acting as either adjectives or adverbs, so you have to ask yourself what they're telling you. This first one, on my desk, well, which question is it answering? It's telling me where I left my computer. I left it on my desk. So it is acting as an adverb, right? Because where is an adverb-y question. Now, what about at school? Well, at school is telling me about this desk. Which desk? The one at school, not my home desk, right? The one that I have at school. So it is telling me which one, making it an adjective. So prepositional phrases are made up of a preposition, the object of the preposition, and occasionally another modifier like an adjective. And they can perform, word function wise, they can be adjectives or adverbs. Now, you've got a couple more examples here, but things you want to watch out for is the word to, because to has 17 jobs in the English language. Sometimes it's a preposition, but sometimes it's also the beginning of a verb and starting an infinitive phrase. So you just have to think about what it means. Are you going to a place, or are you going to do a thing? If you're going to a place, then it's a preposition. If you're going to do a thing, then it's probably a verb. But we'll talk more about that when we get to the infinitive part. Now, the other thing you want to be aware of is that, just like everything else, you can have compound subjects, compound verbs, compound objects, and complements. You can also have compound modifiers. And this just means you'll have more than one. So if you've got cold and creamy treat, cold and creamy are both adjectives describing that treat, and then welcome and wonderful are both adjectives describing that dessert. So those are compound adjectives. You can also have compound adverbs, right? Quickly, how did he run it, right? And efficiently is another way. How did he run the race? Or the mile, sorry. So quickly and efficiently are acting as compound adverbs there. So you can have two of each. That's fine. You can have three. You can have five. I don't know that that would be convenient for your reader, but you can have multiple modifiers. Now, the rest of this chapter shows you modifiers in action. So you start to see the structure that this book uses in terms of terminology. So PP written over something means prepositional phrase. It would be acting as either an adjective or an adverb. P by itself is a preposition. OP is the object of the preposition. ADJ is going to be adjective, and then ADV is going to be adverb. So you can see that each one of these sentences has kind of been broken down into, subject, linking verb, subject complement, if that's what you have. So along the bottom is going to be your sentence pattern. Modifiers, you'll notice, are marked at the top. Why? Because they're modifiers. They're not performing a grammatical function. They're giving extra information. So whenever you look at a sentence, you should have a pattern along the bottom, and along the top, every word should be labeled with either adjective, adverb, or preposition. And I don't know if you're familiar with Nightmare on Elm Street, but by the time you finish this chapter, you will be. So it goes through different situations. So you see sentence pattern along the bottom, modifiers at the top. And underneath each sentence, there is a paragraph explaining what each word does. So you kind of walk through each one of these sentences. And we're almost at the end, but of course, Freddy is never truly gone. He always comes back in a sequel with Jason sometimes. But as we move through the book, we'll come back to some of these sentences and use them as examples again. So I'm sorry if you're not into slasher films, but just bear with us for a little while before we move into another movie. But essentially, that is what you need to know about modifiers. They can act as adjectives or adverbs, and they are often prepositional phrases. And then there's an exercise so you can work your way through this, and then watch the video that goes over all the answers, as well as looking at the answer key.